add to what you just said, Aislynn, because you just hit a major point there. Just to summarize it in lamest terms, it's like, you can't take care of the problems that are going on in the world when your own backyard and your own house is a complete mess. So why don't you clean that up and organize your own space in your own home and establish that sense of safety and security within yourself and within your home and within your own life. Then once you get that situated, you could find it from within to where it's like, okay, I'm up for the challenge to where I can maybe try to make somewhat of a difference and an impact in the world, even if it's just by one person, because you never know who that one person is, can be listening anywhere all across the world, or even within your own community, to where next thing you know, they may spark a conversation with someone. Hey, did you hear about what Clifton's doing? Hey, did you hear about what Aislynn has going on? Then next thing you know, multitude of people are behind you. And then next thing you know, you turn around, Aislynn, you're like, oh, wow, I got a few 100,000 people behind me, maybe, and we're all in alignment to the same exact vision and the mission and the sense of purpose and stuff. And I feel like your sense of purpose is just, in a way, continuing to take the fight, but at the same time realize, like, hey, I've done all the fighting that I can on my end. Here's the blueprint on what you can do as far as to figure things out. And if you need a little bit of extra push, I'm here for you. But based off of everything that you're seeing and within everything that you're doing, as far as just for the sake of the environment within itself, this is going to be pretty interesting, because with the times that we're in, especially 2024 and beyond, the current state of just the whole entire ecosystem, the whole entire farming intro perspective, the whole entire just environment in itself, like, where do you see it going within the next 3 to 5 years if we don't get it together?
A huge class divide, which will actually create a dimensional divide, and we'll have a huge, massive loss of lives. And then there's going to be generations that are going to continue to regenerate and live for long. But the earth is going to start to regenerate itself, and part of that is turning off lives that that haven't awakened enough to understand what's actually happening, But it's a class divide. You're being targeted. I mean, you really are. So it's like, but you're being targeted by the system. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're being targeted by some cabal. You're being targeted by the system that we allowed to come into power above us. So the answer, in my personal opinion, is to get right with understanding what energy scientifically actually is. Energy makes up every single thing that exists on planet Earth. Everything.
Thank you.
There are not a few 1% that own it all. That is impossible. That's not how the Earth works, right? And regeneration is the next era of where Gaia, Mother Earth, is taking herself, and we can either go with her or we can die off. And there's going to be a class divide that's going to create that problem. And the sad part about it is, you understand what a class divide it means. It means we're pushing people off the planet. Wealthy people are pushing people off the planet because they know that essentially they know what you and I are talking about.
They're just trying to create that big gap.
We may be not in that crazy 1% wealth class up there, but we have, for whatever reason, because of the ways we've tapped into our harmonious alignment with I am, God put us here for a reason. Maybe God put us in the lower middle class region so that we could be people that could share those messages of wealth. And that is what it is. It's messages of wealth with anyone who's willing to listen. There are other opportunities available. I'm doing a mandala making workshop out here at the farm on, I think it's July the 11th or 12th, July the 11th or 12th. And it's called The Art of Impermanence. And I'm hoping to teach people that when you begin to get the idea of letting go of loss and lack mindset, you will change everything about how you treat the earth, how you treat your body, how you treat your mind, how you treat your children, how you treat, and that will shift your, our clinging to life, clinging to things, clinging to cars, clinging to all the things that we cling to. Mm-hmm. Because the thing about it is when we shift that and we have a knowledge of the understanding of energy and how energy works and preferences. And I was talking to somebody last night about Bitcoin, right? Mm. And I never really quite understood Bitcoin, but since I've gotten into a more independent space with my own finances and my business and all of those kinds of things, I've realized I'm really, really good with money. Well, what it is that I'm really, really good with energy. I'm really good with regeneration. I'm really creative. Creative people create energy. That means we make value. That means, and if you look at the cost of food right now, and you look at things like Bitcoin and the way people are exchanging energy all over this world in different ways than they are here in the United States, then we begin to understand that fiat money has no value anymore. It actually has no value. But the lower middle class doesn't understand that. So they're being forced out because they're spending money on food that doesn't have quality energy. And they're spending their time running their tillers and spending money on gas, trying to grow one tomato. Yep. You know what I'm saying? They're just their balance of energy is not in alignment. That's the best way to put it. So I know that I have vomited so much information at you guys. I apologize for.
No, this is what's needed. We need this information to be said, and this is exactly what I expected the moment I was bringing you on to the podcast, and why I was looking forward to this, Aislynn, because you're providing so much information, knowledge, and resources. Yes, but most importantly, what you're trying to get everyone who's listening to the HFWB podcast series to understand, you have to plant seeds of abundance in whatever it is that you desire within in your own life to inspire healing within your own self, to where you can heal, for instance, your family, your friends, and your support system to start off. And then who knows, it can grow into a community, because, I mean, we see so much a divide going on between everything that's going on in the world. We need to have a sense of coming back together as one, because it goes back to what we've been talking about. I mean, we're all connected to the same form of energy. We're all connected to the same form of frequency and vibrations. It's really just a matter of you choose to ride the wave or not, because it's going to keep on going with or without you. Everything within Mother Earth, everything within the sun, the moon, the stars, the heavens above, the universe, everything with it's in it. You're gonna have you could either ride with the energy that comes with all of that, or it's gonna continue to go on without you. And I feel like you painted the picture tremendously on that, Aislynn. So don't feel bad on providing all the information and resources, because it needs to be talked about a little bit more. And that's the reason why I wanted to have this discussion with you, just so we can keep that conversation alive before they try to white it out from history or try to sweep it under the carpet like nothing it ever happened or something. We need to keep these conversations going. So overall, Aislynn, we're actually at the point in my podcast where I basically ask people a list of questions of basically everyone who comes onto my podcast. That way we can get to know the people who come on a little bit more. First question is probably going to be a gimme and a given, and I have a feeling I already know what the answer is based on this discussion we're having. What's the first thing you do or think of every single day that you wake up, Aislynn? And you can be honest.
I'm just so happy to be alive, which is such a difference from just a couple of years ago. I mean, just a couple of years ago, I would wake up crying every morning, just so not understanding how I could live this life. It just seems so hard and so taxing. And now I wake up and I actually have the same exact feeling when I go to sleep and when I wake up, and both of them are completely different than they used to be. When I get in my bed at night, I'm just like, I'm so glad to be here. This is my comfortable space. I mean, I literally do that. I wiggle around in my sheets and I just snuggle up with myself, and hug my dog and, whatever. Right. And then my alarm clock goes off in the morning and I think the exact same thing. I'm just like, how did I end up here? And then, that's because I've learned to deal with my imposter syndrome. I know now how I ended up here. I followed what I was told to do in my intuition, even before I knew I was doing that, but I just wake up happy to be alive.
I love that. A sense of gratitude, thankful to see another day. Simple, straightforward, to the point. And I feel like that's important, Aislinn, especially when we're on our journey of life, trying to chase, as we call in this fast paced world, the next best thing or the next form of success. All that is fine and dandy. And that's what we're on this journey for in the meantime until we move on to the next phase, of course. But at the same time, we have to find time to like really take care of ourselves. We can't forget about our health, obviously, which kind of segues into the next question I was going to ask you in regards to. You've heard this many a times, Aislinn. Health is wealth. You can't have one without the other. They're kind of two sides of the coin.
Yep.
In your personal eyes, Aislinn, your own definition, what does health and wealth mean for yourself?
For me, wealth is not about fiat money or even amassing energy. It's about the capacity to live out the joy of my life, to live in alignment, to do the things that I choose to do. And so that's wealth, right? Time is my greatest asset, time. And that's, and we've been selling as lower middle class, lower class. We've been selling our time for all of eternity that we know of, right? And being used, right? So wealth of time. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter how much wealth, richness, money you have. And I watched wealthy people in my close family die and live horrible quality of life for the last 10 to 20 years of their lives. And they had plenty of money, but it didn't matter. You know, they got to retirement age and lived 10 more years in I'm broke, congestive heart failure, all the things, all diabetes, all the things, miserable, having to go get their kidneys dialysis. And I mean, just these horrible things, cancer treatments and all of this stuff. So what difference does it make if you have a bunch of money, if you're not healthy? What difference does it make?
Exactly.
There's no point. How are you going to drive your fancy car if you can't? I mean, I have close experience with these actual things. You have a Mercedes you can't drive. What's the point?
That's what I be trying to tell people. And it's like, you're worried so much about your career. You're worried so much about the money and all that stuff. Do you ever take a moment to forget about your health? Because if you're not healthy enough to even take part of all those things, what's the point? Like, what are you doing this for in general? And at the same time, it's just, you touched on something very particular, Aislinn, that I agree with you on. You know, time is very, very critical because I hate it when people say that, oh, time is money. No, it's not. Without money, time is all that we have. What are you going to do to utilize your time wisely to where you can put yourself in a position to where you can eventually make some more money down the road? Because you could obviously choose not to do anything and then you wasting all the time. And then at the same time, you're not bringing in no resources and all the things that come with it. So time is definitely a big factor in developing wealth. And I loved how you touched on that tremendously because I'm a firm believer, Aislinn, in utilizing your time wisely and making every minute and making every second count because it's not guaranteed and it's not promised. I mean, yes, the previous day is history, but at the same time, tomorrow is a mystery. It's not promised. You don't know what's going to happen. So it's like, I tell people this all the time, Aislinn, right here, right now, the present moment is everything that you're ever going to need because you can't control what already had happened. And at the same time, you don't know what's to come in the future. So take advantage of right here, right now. And that's beautiful. I love it. Now, my next question involves just one word, Aislinn, community. What do you think of whenever you hear the word community? First initial thoughts.
My literal glow, heart chakra, green open, always has been open since I was a little bitty girl, just glows. I literally, when you say the word community, at this point in my life, I just feel so overwhelmingly in love with the community of humans that are around me and why I'm here in the body of Christ, Corpus Christi. I mean, this community means so much to me. And with me, what it is it's even bigger than the physical connection. It's an energetic connection.
Yeah.
I'm healing this community by existing here, just existing here and being a positive person about it. And I'll also add into that the Aquarius moon is all about the community and all about doing everything we can to benefit the community and be a part of the community. So there's actually nothing, as much as it may seem like it from maybe an outside perspective, or maybe this is my imposter syndrome internal view that I'm still working on. I do everything for us, everything for us. But what I know is that I have to fix this one. That's the only way that I can affect us, is to fix this one. So we've got juxtapositioned into believing that's selfish, but it's literally the opposite of selfish. The best way I can help my community is by being good to myself and letting that express on the community. And for me, I was given a voice. I mean, not only like, do I have the capacity to carry a message, but my voice is loud. Like I can catch a big freaking room. I can get everyone's attention if I need to. God gave me that voice to lead people, to lead leaders even. God gave me that voice. And so that's what community is to me. It's my love. It is my love, community. Oh, I want to cry a little bit about it.
No, and I love how you went into like the whole importance of like the heart chakra and everything, because most people don't understand with the heart chakra. It's deep. There's a reason why the heart chakra is green and not red, because it's a whole lot of deeper perspective in the meaning of love. It means like that empathy, that compassion, and that sense of understanding yourself. And to be honest, that's not selfish at all, because a lot of people don't even know who they are when they look at themselves in the mirror. And I was just having a conversation with someone earlier. It's like the moment you take a look in the mirror and realize who you are, and you look at yourself in the mirror, that gives you all the understanding that you need within yourself to develop that empathy and that understanding, to where it's like, I know myself, I know my tendencies, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, but at the same time, I love who I am as an overall person, because I am me, and nobody else can be me but me, which makes me my own unique individual. And that alone allows you to love yourself, to where you can be able to love others, to where you can be able to make a difference and make an impact in your community, just by realizing that, hey, that interconnectedness that we have within each other. Because again, we're all connected within this universe by the law of oneness. Like anything I do or say can impact the next person. Like for instance, Aislynn, the conversation that we're having, it can impact either of us so much to where we can tell the next person we talk to about our conversation. And next thing you know, it can spark something, and it can carry on in the form of energy, frequency, vibrations, shifting paradigms within our overall thought process, and just really tuning into that mind and body connection, to where we realize that we're one within our spirit, and at the same time we're one within the starting from within our heart, which is the source to all our answers and to all the information that the universe provides, because that's how we are first detected as senses of life within this universe. It's literally from the power of that heartbeat. It's like once that heartbeat stops, that's it. There's nothing else to be said there. So I love that picture that you painted there in regards to that. As we transition, Aislynn, to a series of questions where I'm going to pick your brain just a little bit more, because I feel like this is going to be very interesting, this next segment, where I basically ask you which one you would choose out of the other as far as either or style. First one is simple, Aislynn: loyalty or respect? It's interesting because you can't have one without the other, but if you had to choose.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, I think I have to have both. It's definitely not. I would have to say I'm having a hard time, because.
Which one would you say you favor more?
If we're talking about loyalty to myself, then yeah, I mean, I'm going to go there, because I think that's the loyalty to myself is how I solve all the other problems. Respect becomes very important to people respect me. I treat myself as a loyal, like I'm loyal to myself. You know what I mean? Like, I just think, I don't know that I can do an either or, but I would say that I think that like loyalty matters to me because I come from a family of very loyal people. But I also have been in a situation where I was extremely loyal to somebody who I had to completely cut out of my life because they were damaging me so badly. Like let me take that back. The relationship we had with each other was creating damage for both of us. And so that loyalty, it didn't matter how loyal I was. I had to make a change. So I would love to say loyalty. I just don't know that I think loyalty to ourselves, if we're going to do loyalty.
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's all from your perspective, Aislynn. And hey, that's what makes life very, very interesting and very unique. I feel like if we all had the same perspective and we all had the same thoughts, the world wouldn't be as interesting as it is on a regular basis. So there's nothing wrong with that perspective at all, the way I see it personally. My next one is this. Would you rather live in space or the ocean?
Space, because space is in the ocean. Okay, but now we're talking everything.
That's a whole other conversation.
Everything's space. So no, I don't know. I think I've probably already lived in space in another dimension. So let's call it space. Although I love the water. I'm far out there. For me, space. But space is all that ever was. Imagine how much space is available in the water, in the soil, there's space everywhere. So I choose space. You see, I don't even process words the same way other people process words. Even when we were talking about time earlier, I was like, oh wait, we could go down a whole time rabbit hole where like time isn't real. And
wow, I love that. I mean, and that's a very deep, interesting perspective and very unique within itself, because you can make an argument that space is the ocean and ocean is space. There's a reason why there's only a certain amount of it that's been discovered within the course of time. And there's a reason why we rarely go to space as much, because they're kind of one and the same if you really think about it. If you break it down from like the firmament standpoint, it pretty much is kind of one and the same. But hey, that's
above, so below.
Exactly. I mean, if you don't gotta be a rocket scientist to figure out, when you literally go outside and walk outside and you see literally the moon on one side and the sun on the other side, you automatically think to yourself, yeah, they're both one and the same. I mean, you could literally make that analysis yourself if you really take a moment to sit there and notice it and pay attention. But that's the problem with people. We don't pay attention to the little things. But that's a whole nother thing. But
yeah.
My next one is this. Would you rather be famous and poor or anonymous and rich?
I'm so bad at these either or questions.
You're fine, Aislynn. It's all good.
Because I famous and poor. I guess that I'd rather be that, because that's that would be the closest one to what I am today. Like, I don't see myself as poor, and I also don't see myself as famous, but that's closer to what I am than what was the other one? Like anonymous.
Anonymous and rich.
I'm not anonymous. I can never imagine myself being anonymous. Like, no. I think I was born and named Aislynn, and then like this voice and these eyes, and just like there's no way for me to be anonymous. I was never going to have a chance to be anonymous.
Yeah, so, you're always out there, whether it's in person, whether it's in social media. It's hard to turn anywhere and not notice, of course, your presence or your voice based off of the things that you currently do on a regular basis. So I can definitely attest to that for sure. This next one is interesting, Aislynn. Would you rather have unlimited free meals at your favorite restaurant or unlimited first class tickets?
Unlimited first class tickets. I was quick with that one, wasn't I?
This is going to be an interesting one. Would you
I'm
rather
traveling the world and I'm going to eat I can grow my own food. Are you kidding me? Like I don't need somebody to feed me, but give me some tickets to go anywhere on this planet. I'm gone.
No, you know what? That makes a whole lot of sense, and I should have known that off the top. But would you rather dance to every song or sing to every song?
Dance. I'm a dancer. Yeah.
Now,
I'm a wiggler.
yes, you got to be in tune with the power of movement because that's what matters as far as just the physical well-being we've been discussing for sure. Now, I'm going to paint this picture for you, Aislynn. Picture yourself on an island, right? And you're stranded on this island, but you have the option to listen to 5 of your favorite music artists of all time. It could be any genre, their whole catalog of music. Who would those 5 music artists be?
Tribe Called Quest, the Fugees, Otis Redding. Oh, somebody new. Oh, I'm trying to think of who's in my, I guess Van Morrison, maybe.
Okay.
I was trying to think of somebody new that also I would like, maybe like, the Shins. No, the Avett Brothers, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I listen to a lot of music, but you saw me name off 3 that are like like forever music. Janis Joplin. I would,
you can go either way, but that's not a bad. There's nothing
Tribe
wrong
Called
with
Quest, the Fugees are always going to be there. Like
yeah, you can't go wrong with Tribe Called Quest or the Fugees without a doubt. Those are all time classic groups and stuff. Now, overall, Aislynn, what is your favorite go-to meal you like to make out of everything you grow within your farm, or just in general?
I really love in terms of like one of my most favorite foods on the planet is a big crawfish boil. Spicy crawfish.
I love that.
And then in terms of what I make out here, tacos. Because you can make anything with tacos. You can make shrimp tacos. You can make goat meat tacos. You can make chicken tacos. And I can do it with all my vegetables. I can make breakfast tacos with the eggs from my chickens. So tacos.
And I can attest to that too. For those who haven't tried Aislynn's shrimp tacos in particular, with all the vegetables that she grows on her farm, they're to die for. And I would definitely recommend, checking out one of those supper at the farms, because you never know. She may be serving up some shrimp tacos. At least I hope so, because that was what I enjoyed out of our overall experience when I went there, was the shrimp tacos and the red wine from your farm. I felt fancy, but at the same time, I felt grounded and humble again at the same time, enjoying that meal. It was great. It really was. But my next question is this: where's your favorite place that you've traveled to thus far? And at the same time, where's a place you like to travel to that you haven't traveled to before?
I want to go to Spain, and I want to walk the Camino del, I forget what it's called, the walk, whatever it's called, the walk. But I want to start way far back. I forget which one, maybe Paris. It takes like 30 days. So, and then you go to Portugal and Spain and, whatever. So that's where I want to go. That's definitely at the top of the list. Where I've been that I love, God, I love this country. I mean, I've traveled out of this country too, but I love this country. Okay. Kauai, because it's like God made heaven for Aislynn and called it Kauai. If you haven't been to Kauai, it's got chickens everywhere and beaches and lots of other things that I hiking and tuna, poke bowls fresh off the boat. Oh, it's heaven. It's heaven.
I love it.
Rains every day,
I love it, Aislynn. Now, whenever you're not doing all the things that you're doing on a regular basis, because you're super busy, always constantly into something. Well, I wanted to throw one thing out there. For those who don't know Aislynn very well and who don't follow her on social media, people sleep on the sense of fashion and the sense of style that Aislynn does have. So I gotta ask you this, Aislinn, because by the way, I'm a fan of the outfit of the days you like to do on your TikToks. By the way,
Thank you.
what inspired you to do that? And at the same time, what are some things that you like to do within your own personal hobbies that many people may not know you like to do?
Okay, so outfit of the day came because a couple of my friends said you need to do OOTD, and I was like, I'm not cool enough to know what OOTD is, so can you tell me what that is? And they said it's outfit of the day, and they were like, you have the cutest outfits that we see but we don't see, so we want you to start doing outfit of the day. So I was literally asked to do it, so that's why I do it, and now I love it because I'm like, oh, you like my style? Cool. Let me show
No,
you off, you know?
I mean, I'm like looking and I'm like, okay, Aislinn, I mean, that's unique. Like you got your own taste and
My
style.
own style for sure. Yes. Okay. So I just recently picked up my skateboard again, my longboard. And I've been cruising down the bayfront and I took it to Houston and I went and went around the downtown area where my son lives and rode my down to Discovery Green and everything. I'm really active. So I love to hike. I love to do anything in the water. I love paddleboarding. So travel, outdoor activity. I'm a 90s kid. I'm a latchkey Gen X 90s kid. So I watch a lot of TV and I'm a soap opera TV kind of person. And I'm not talking about like daytime soap operas. I'm talking about like an entire season of Nashville, which is basically a soap opera. You know what I mean? Like I just, so I watch a lot of TVs. I'm a bit of a cinephile. I love movies. I love to go to movies. I love to talk about going to movies, that kind of thing. And of course my big hobby is gardening and being outside and, but all that other stuff is just, the things that I like to do that are not, I wouldn't say they're just mine. They're my things. I love art. I love to go to art museums. I don't have a degree in fine arts, but I have quite a bit, like almost a minor in fine arts. So I have a lot of background in fine arts and digital arts and things like that too. So the creative side of me is real.
Yeah, the creative side of you, Aislinn, is activated and it's fully engaged more than ever based off of everything you just described. And you're basically in tune with the right side of your brain. It's like you have like four houses and a hotel on the right side of your brain by how much you're locked into the creative space. And at the same time, you still have a house on the logic side as well, to where you just bring all of it together as one, and it creates the creative, social, energetic person that you are. Like, I literally could feel your energy from the laptop and everything. That's how energetic and how powerful your overall presence is, Aislinn. That's something within itself. I just wanted to throw that out there as I transition into the final question I have for you. And I feel like this is going to be the most interesting one. It's usually the most interesting one. Imagine you go back in time, right? And you talk to yourself, say 10 years ago, Aislinn, what would you tell yourself in that particular moment? And at the same time, where do you see yourself based on your current journey in the next 10 years?
I don't like to live in the land of the idea that I have regret, because I wouldn't be who I am today had I not gone through what I went through in the last decade of my life. But I would have said no to somebody. And that's what I would have done different 10 years ago. I would have told myself to say no to somebody. And what that's taught me, rather than being regretful or non-forgiving, is to say to people out there, be aware when your intuition is telling you things. First of all, learn how to set boundaries, learn how to say no, recognize your own confidence. So instead of just, Aislinn, say no, what would I tell Aislinn to get her to be able to say no? Right? Set your boundaries, be confident in who you are, all kinds of things like that. That would have changed the trajectory. I don't want to have changed the trajectory, though, because beautiful things happened, as well as the hardest things I've ever had to deal with in my whole entire life in that decade, right? In the future, and I said this to you earlier when we were off camera, I'm not saying I want to be a household name necessarily, but I certainly want my voice to be reaching way more people from a very humble place of someone that is offering a spirit of healing with the practical and grounded knowledge that I have been able to access. That's what I hope for. And the thing is that you want to talk about manifesting. Back when I didn't understand what manifesting was out, whatever, I just got told, write it down. Just write it down. I've been journaling for 20 years. I have my kids are going to, someday my kids are going to pick up a bunch of journals when I pass, and they're going to be like, our mom, they already know I'm a crazy person, but they love me all the same. But I mean, if you open up those journals and read through the last 20 years of my life, I have been a mental case, right? But I remember writing down on a piece of paper, stuffing it in a little Native American dream box, putting it on a sanctuary like platform, and incense next to it, trying to magic it to happen. I wrote, I want to travel the world and talk to them about healing. I want to travel the world and talk about wellness. I want to be, and I never knew exactly how that, but that's what I want to do. I want to travel. And interestingly enough, that is actually already occurring because my voice is traveling the world. Now, I may only be traveling the world to literally a handful of people, but my voice is traveling the world now. And so I just want it to continue to be able to do that more and more.
Aislynn, you're doing that and then some based on the overall following that you have just off of social media alone, based on all the content that you create, and at the same time, based on all the work that you've put in throughout the course of your life, just seeing the beauty within all the struggles that you've been through, and at the same time, seeing a little bit of the ugliness that comes with the success, and just finding like that perfect balance and that sense of grounding, that sense of safety, that sense of comfort, and most importantly, that sense of peace, love, and positive vibrations with just the overall sanctuary that you've created within Freedom Harvest Farms that if you really wanted to, Aislynn, you could keep to yourself. But the fact that you have such a big, warming, wonderful heart, you're willing to open your own home and your own farm up to the community where they can experience exactly the sanctuary that is needed to help feed the mind, the body, and the spirit, and just to continue to plant those seeds of abundance to help spark up that fire within that desire to inspire healing to just one person at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time. And I feel like that's the overall message I want everybody to get out of this particular episode that we're recording, Aislynn. And I just can't thank you enough. But before we get on out of here, you got to let people know where they can find you first and foremost, because you're all over social media. You have your own website booming. You have a whole bunch of things in the works. Now's the time to get it all out there for those who are listening, what you have coming up.
Well, I would really like to get my follower base up for the farm. So Freedom Harvest Farms on Facebook, go there. But then once you go there, you're going to see Aislynn J Campbell. Both of those are my, and I do that both on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. It's all kind of the same. If you look up my name, as a matter of fact, if you write Aislynn and if you're not from Corpus Christi and you write Aislynn Corpus Christi, then you're not going to miss me. I'm everywhere because I've been in the news for 25 years. No, I've been in the news since I was 16. So it's like, there's a bunch of crap on there. And then my website is very static because I just don't want to do that with my time. That's not what I want to do. And until I find somebody to exchange energy with that wants to help me with that, it's just what it is right now. But you can find out how to get into potentially a group where you could buy products from me. If you follow either the farm page or Aislynn, my personal Aislynn page, that's where you're going to run into this mandala making event that I have coming up, the supper farmhouse suppers that you mentioned, anything that I'm doing when the farm's open, if we're going to have the big grape harvest thing going on, anything that's happening in my world over here at the farm is going to be on those pages. And I'm extremely easy to communicate with. So send me a text message, send me a messenger, just reach out to me, ask me, if you're looking for help with consulting on your land, for getting into regenerative homestead, if you're looking for coaching on gardening, if you're looking for how to cook meals that are more budget friendly, healthy, all those types of things. I've got a Patreon account where I do, things for subscribers. So you're right. I'm a little bit everywhere because I'm using my voice, but I'm on the outside now. I'm like out, in the rural area. And so in order to continue my path of voice and communication, I have to be on the online stream and use it to the best of my ability to get information out there to people. And I'm always looking for new avenues, new ways. I'm never, my actual professional degree is in communications. So I'm a public relations professional. I'm a public speaker. That's what I am. So I've been
I wasn't even going to get into all that, Aislynn, but yeah, a lot of people don't know that about you.
That's my training. That's where I came from. I came from communications. And so I've been and my career kicked off right about the time that the college kids were getting into Facebook, and I was in young adult ministries. And so I was hanging out with college kids. So I got on Facebook very early. The moment it came out of the college world and anybody could be in it, I was on Facebook. I was on MySpace. I was on, all of that stuff. And I never did, what is that one that snaps, the Snapchat? Because that always felt like things for children. I couldn't seem to get myself into that. But I know a lot of people still do it that are older than children now. So I'm not like trying to offend anyone. It's just, I never got into that world, Yeah. So anyways, I'm always looking. And my 25-year-old son tells me I need to be on Twitter. And I'm like, it just seems so boring to me. Like I can't, but
Twitter kind of lost its sizzle a little bit over the years. And now that it's become X, it's kind of like, what are you doing? I'm confused. Like, what's going on here?
Well, I'm everywhere. You can find me everywhere. It's just a matter of how up to date. My regular up to date one is my personal one and the farm one. And I would love it if people would come over and follow me.
Show Aislynn Campbell some love. Show Freedom Harvest Farm some love. Let's just continue to just come together to where we can just inspire healing within ourselves and within our own prospective communities. If you get anything out of this particular episode we just did, just continue to inspire healing from yourself. Just realize that you can take care of yourself and you have the ability to heal yourself from within. And to where you can make a difference and make an impact at the right moment and right time within the course of your life. That's what it's really all about at the end of the day. And it starts with you. If I can do it, if Aislynn can do it, so can you.
Amen.
Aislynn, thank you so much for just making time out of your busy schedule to bless us with an appearance on the HFWB podcast series. This definitely has been one for the books, that's for sure. And I enjoyed every single minute of it. Thank you again, my friend.
Thank you all for joining me, and thank you for having me. Clifton, you are such a gracious person. It's been so great to just meet you, learn about your business, stay connected with you. And I wish you all the best of luck with all the things you're doing.
I appreciate that, Aislynn. And with that being said, this is your host, Clifton Pope of the HFWB podcast series, encouraging y'all to stay healthy, wealthy, and blessed. And until next time, peace, love, and positive vibrations.